we live again? Are we back?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so welcome back after buttering us up with all this moisturizing, moist, oozing gobbles of caramelly goodness talk. We're now just diving into Eric. Well, Eric, what are you gonna serve us here?
Well, we got cinnamon roll. This is the thing, man. This thing that started it all.
What started it?
Yep. Here we go.
And this is so. We stopped off at my house on the way, and my dad. You served some for the family. These are larger than normal size cinnamon rolls, would you say? Or
Yeah.
these, and what are you spreading on there? Let's talk about.
That's a chocolate caramel syrup.
Okay. And then what do we got here? What kind of frosting?
Good old-fashioned cream cheese.
No secret blend. This is just whipped cream cheese.
Yep. Cream cheese and powdered sugar.
Man, look at that. You guys getting that? All right, who's going in? B, you were asking the question, so I think you need to.
That's why I didn't pull the phone out.
All right, here. Let me. I think the one thing we failed to do is grab some forks, and maybe a little knife. Cut it up a little bit.
No, you don't need to cut it.
Okay.
Oh, there we
There we
go.
go. Here we go.
There we go.
Oh, you got it. All right.
Right.
Mini fork. Do we have knives?
Mini
I
fork.
like your strategy of just lurking in the background.
Yeah.
Have you
Well, I
put
mean,
the
you guys had a
portion
phone.
tasting?
Like, dude, live in the moment. Okay.
You need a knife?
So
No.
we got, no, you don't. I don't need a knife because I'm gonna eat the whole thing. So. Let's see.
I am living in the moment. How often are we gonna have the
Oh my
mean guy
goodness.
from Astranda here?
Oh my God.
I see you all the
All
time.
right. Here we go. Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That.
why cinnamon roll?
The cream cheese. Cream cheese.
Cream cheese?
Mmm.
I didn't even start with that. My wife convinced me to
Yeah.
make that one like a year after it started.
I mean,
And of course,
Cinnabon ain't got nothing on that.
You said it was a coffee glaze.
yeah,
Chocolate
I
early
should
on?
have brought that one tonight. But
Mm.
don't have it.
That is really good.
Describe it. Like what do you like? What do you not like? Like what's
It's got just the right amount of cinnamon. Like I'm not a huge cinnamon fan. I find Cinnabon usually has a little too much cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like the perfect mix, and then the cream cheese, the tartness of the cream cheese. Yeah, get in.
I couldn't wait.
Get in. I know you can't. I see you. I'm gonna hold it down for you. I'm holding. Dino's eyeing it.
I mean, I've tried it right here.
Well, you've tried it. Okay.
Mmm.
It's really good.
I've tried it. So. Yeah, I know exactly what to expect. By the way, Gemma requested some cinnamon rolls for the house.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if any survive here tonight.
I'm
You know
gonna
why it's so good?
the bread.
It just tastes so simple. Like I know exactly what's in it.
But I couldn't make this.
But I couldn't make it.
Yeah, the bread is.
That's a really fluffy
Yeah.
bread too. How do you get it like that?
Good question. I mean, it's like
Is that
compared
trade
compared to what, I don't know, get acquainted with making enriched doughs. Like I think that it helps to. I use a lot of yogurt in it.
Yogurt.
I think it helps the dough be more active. Yeah.
That is really, really good.
I don't know
other
why I'm
things.
working on this
I just got some of the
I'm
chocolate.
just gonna. Yeah, I'm a fan of the middle.
I just got the chocolate.
I'm just
So
gonna.
So where is this? Where is the store or the shop?
Let's pop up.
It was like
No shop.
But how do we find these cinnamon rolls?
All on Instagram because I do not have a website.
Your IG is your IG is
Astranda Bakery.
okay.
Oh, what is
And
that?
maybe talk a little bit about, kind of what's your schedule? Are you generally doing a pop up every weekend? Would you do catering?
I do it all, man. Yeah.
This is a good time to plug what you've got upcoming this week and the next couple of weekends.
Yeah, I'll be at Many Mill Wine Bar in Oakland this Sunday, and then the following week, I'm going to be doing it with some of my old ex-Dumpling Club friends, doing a Chinese breakfast in Oakland at Jurubu, and after that I'll be doing this Union Square concert. I have a friend who works at the chapel. She invited me to be part of their vendors.
The chapel in the Mission?
Yeah,
Chapel?
yeah.
Right,
They're helping
the music venue?
They're helping put on with SF Live this free concert in Union Square.
Where Union Square? Like right in the middle of
Right in the
Union
middle.
Square?
Yeah,
Oh, really? What date is that?
I think it's the 12th, October 12th.
Okay. All right.
Saturday.
All right. Mental note, October 12th. We shall be there.
Yeah.
Come on out, everybody. What are you guys laughing? He's plugging it. We got to check it out. All right. So what else? What do we have next here on the menu? You still working on the cinnamon roll?
I just got some of the middle. Yeah.
The middle makes it, right?
It was so soft.
What are
It's a good
Chocolatey.
blend of like
It's
the
mixed with,
chocolatey cinnamon,
Yes.
right?
what's next up here? Eric? What's the sprinkles? Can you describe the sprinkles?
Yeah, we've got a chocolate buckwheat cake. I just wanted to make something that was simple, like box cake, but obviously, with same kind of ideas as cinnamon rolls, just better,
He's asking for more.
There's buckwheat in there. There's whole spelt flour in there.
Soundman wants
Whole, spelt is one of my favorite grains, and that goes into almost everything. It's in the scone. It's in the cinnamon rolls too. Just a little bit, not so much that it's like, tastes like health food, but enough to give it some depth and some amount of nutrition and texture. Same for this. There's some buckwheat in there too, and it gets brushed with some maple and sorghum molasses, and then just a simple chocolate frosting on top, sprinkles.
Okay. And what do we have next to it?
That is Dino's favorite salt and caramel banana scone. White
Pecan
chocolate.
pie?
Salt and caramel, banana scone.
This is Dino's favorite?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going in. I'm going there.
Go in.
Let's
Go
see.
in.
Wait, what is it? Banana?
Salt and caramel banana scone.
Does anyone have a bottle opener? I forgot one.
Do we have one here?
Holy Batman. That's good.
I had my reservations. Like, I'm not a banana fan, but oh man.
That is good.
Hold on.
It's, I like the word. The operative word is moist.
Oh my god.
Right.
That's
But
not a scone.
That's not, yeah. That's
But seriously, right? Like
that's very
seriously, it's
unscone-like.
That's not the scone I get at Pete's.
Because most scones are fucking terrible.
Yeah,
Right? They're like
rock
dry
hard.
and
Yes.
shitty. and-
doesn't it change your entire perception of scones?
Totally.
They're not even dry, they're chalky. Most
So
of
this is
them.
what this is what a scone is.
This
So I-
is what a
so I-
scone.
I
This is
got
what a
real
scone
strong.
should be.
So I got to give a shout out to Julia Webb,
Oh my God.
formerly of Lodge Bakery in LA.
Yeah.
I was able to. I have a friend.
Oh.
I had a friend who worked there, Mike Ortiz. They both used to work there together. Julia was generous enough to let me
Right.
spend a day with her. She showed me how she builds her scones. She builds each one individually into a mold so that every bite, has a little bit of everything. And that's.
Wow.
She showed me how she likes to hydrate it, how the ratios of everything, and so she's the scone master, as well as everything else too, cookies and cakes.
So as a fan, as I would say, the number one, fan club member of your scones. How long did it
You're not
take
going
you
to get any
to?
more freebies.
Yeah,
No,
Enough.
Alright.
Enough.
There's always a plug for
This
freebies.
is so good. I gotta get one.
By the way, he may be doing Trey's birthday party. So
There it is.
my birthday party.
when did you decide? What was the point
man.
where you decided to branch off from cinnamon rolls to other types of pastries as part of Astranda specifically?
It was pretty soon after, because even though they got a huge pop from the article, it was clear that, not only did I need to, but I also wanted to make more than just one thing.
Which article, by the way? I don't think we've mentioned.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We want to talk a little bit about starting Astranda. Eric was the beneficiary of a really good connect who helped to kind of make him go viral in the city.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever served these was right after the George Floyd incident and protests in June of 2020. There was a nationwide movement called Bakers Against Racism, and we all raised money for social justice movements. And so the first time I ever shared these with the world was just delivering these all over the bay in my Prius for one day. And one of those people was Omar Mamoon, who writes for the Chronicle, and that was fun to deliver to his house. I didn't think anything of it. And then, as it happens, 4 months later, at that time I was still baking for Bargacole, but 3 weeks after I had rebranded and made this my own thing, Omar calls me up and he's like, "Hey, I want to do a feature on you. I want to do some fact checking and learn more about how this all started." And then the article came out, and that was a great time for it to happen, because often places it takes a lot longer, months or years or never before they get a feature like that. So
Just
Yeah.
go around me, dude.
Hey, you're in the way, bro.
I'm trying to do an interview here,
You're in the way,
okay?
you're in the way, dude.
Just go here. Just get
Oh,
over
right on,
there.
right on. Thank
I
you,
like
thank you.
how you one of your
Wow.
inspirations for that one was you wanted a plain box cake. And it does give me that, but
Yep.
like you said, but better.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I haven't
I can't
introduced
really
you.
think of
You've
any
been
way to
like,
describe it.
you've been drooling over my shoulder, bro.
I've ever had.
Exactly.
Let me see.
That's so good. Wow.
Box cake, but better.
I think what makes it for me is the
Frosting.
well, the frosting is great, but just the overall texture.
Yeah.
Like sometimes with certain box cake, I like the word you use, chalky. Like certain box cakes, you can get that as well. And this is like totally the opposite of that. So for the Chronicle article, which kind of really helped blow you up, what was your following before? You know, like how did you see the changes in exposure?
I don't remember. It was such a blur. I mean, just through like friends and industry friends. I mean, it's so easily measured on Instagram, right? So it was like a few hundred before. Then afterwards, it just shot up to like 1,000 and more than that.
That's great.
Which, all at once, with such a small operation, still me just doing all the baking, which is basically how it's always been for the most part. It was a lot. And God, those are the longest days too at Elda, because I would usually be up too late prepping and then get up early the day of, like at 4 or something. Get up, roll the rolls out, let them proof, bake them, and then we'd have like a 2 or 3 hour service where people would come pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, since it was still high pandemic days, I would get in my car with like 10 more boxes of rolls and deliver all of our SF for like another 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then
In your Prius, I heard you say, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a
so
Prius.
just to satisfy the image of the
yeah, sometimes
climate
literally-
change conscious,
Yeah.
West Coaster.
It's really good imagery, though.
Right? It is though. It's like the perfect imagery though, right?
It was
So that was during the pandemic then, right?
Yeah, and the cool thing was I had some contacts with some medical professionals at SF General, and anything that I had left over, or anything that was wonky or that I couldn't sell, I would end my day by going there and giving them my leftovers and my extras, and they were really appreciative of it. Did that for probably about 4 or 5 months or something.
Nice.
So
Maybe
can,
more.
Can we call these social justice pastries?
Sure, like everyone else who started back then.
You were describing it during the pandemic, but now I guess let's talk a little bit about prep and process. So for this, so you have a pop-up coming this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've already started the prep process, but what does that entail, like in the week leading up or days leading up?
That's funny because I'm still working on, being more on top of life in general. Like I should have had things like the frosting and the cinnamon filling made, but I still got to make it tomorrow, for the next day. I've got to mix my dough tomorrow to bake the morning of. I'm making kind of a take on Japanese egg salad sandos also, so I got to mix the dough for that and bake it. Cook the eggs, make the mayo, everything from scratch.
Okay.
Usual.
So at least well in advance of upwards of 48 hours in advance kind of prep time.
Yeah, ideally.
You just touched on the question. I know as we were kind of driving over here, I know you kind of made your mark with pastries, with cinnamon roll, but let's switch gears because this is the second half, right? Nothing is static, right? Especially in the restaurant business, everything has to kind of change or be refreshed, reborn, like a new spin on old things. What do you see in terms of pivoting in what Astranda is going to deliver to the community?
It's so many ways to answer that. Maybe I can really quickly say that people ask me still, like, all the time, when am I going to do brick and mortar? The short answer is never for the Bay Area, most likely, unless some, billionaire wants to just buy me a bakery. Otherwise, I don't want to go through all that bullshit of, being beholden to investors and, even just running the business, never being able to pay people enough to, make more than a living wage out here. Fuck all that. I just want to keep control over this and open in a place and at a time where I can really take care of my people and also be part of a community. Because don't get me wrong, I love it out here too, and I've been really lucky to be out here, but there's so many people doing so many things, which is cool. That's part of our audience, but at the same time, it's like we're all kind of like entertainers, right? Like me and my other Hello Pop-Up people or other brick and mortar bakeries and restaurants. Like, I guess the ideal future I have is like being part of a smaller, probably more rural community where you're really part of the community, right? Like you're maybe somewhere people go to every week, multiple times a week. You really get to know everyone who comes. I just see that more for myself. It's not for everyone, but yeah. As far as what I'm going to be doing while I'm still here, this year the cinnamon rolls haven't been popping off as much, and I think that's for a number of reasons. But with certain events, it's really clear to see that, of course, like if you're doing like a night market or something, the place that's serving like, the ramen or the sandwiches or the this or that, the savory thing that they're gonna have for dinner, for lunch, that's gonna have, a line a mile long, because everyone who comes is gonna need that. Everyone needs to get fed, and then maybe like half of them, if you're lucky, will come by for sweets, whether it's you or somebody else. No matter how good what you're making is, and I don't even think I'm that great or whatever, but no matter how good your thing is, you're gonna be the afterthought to the savory thing, the thing that's gonna fill people up. So I've wanted for forever to do a take on burgers, because I've cooked thousands of burgers over the restaurants I've worked at. Not just to jump in on the burger trend because it's such a thing, but to make it part of a diner series, because I guess in a way, conceptually, it's an outgrowth of the whole cinnamon roll thing and that whole comfort thing, because how great is, just the American diner and the idea of that burgers, fries, milkshakes, and everything that goes with them, and it seems kind of hard to find somewhere that does all those things really well. So I want to play with that for sure, as well as host different friends to have their takes on anything they want to make, whether it's American inspired or from every other culture too. Like my friend Nancy is going to do her version of a Hong Kong diner classic, pork chop buns. My friend Jess is going to make pie. There are diner traditions and dishes from every culture and every country, and it's basically an excuse to just keep doing whatever we want. So yeah, I'm not sure when that's going to happen. It's harder than I thought to make the time to work on and research all this stuff, between still being a dad and keeping the wheels turning with the business, but it's coming.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I got you.
No, you got it.
Right here. Oh,
What'd you do?
just tension.
Tension between the bottles?
Yeah.
Okay, are we back? Are we back? Okay, we are back here.
After we ate.
After the main dessert course, we are back for
Dessert?
the liquid dessert.
Well, after the best cinnamon rolls.
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's not mince words. After the best cinnamon rolls ever, and the best scones ever, and the best box cake ever. Now Eric is treating us to a nice, delightful plum soda float.
Yeah. Ice cream's a little soft from being in the cooler, but that's okay. It's okay. It's actually really soft.
So this is, you were talking about pivoting to the second half of Astranda. So would this be on the menu?
Absolutely.
Alongside the burgers.
Yeah.
And the fries. Another slice of Americana.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Look at that. Let's get a little
Where did
more
the
of this
inspiration
in
for this dessert come from?
Oh, just
Something you
diner,
had
just
in the past, or you just wanted to mess with this?
just diner menus. Yeah,
Oh.
just floats.
I'm a fan of the float.
But the syrup comes from just, for the longest time, I talk about it with some of my other pastry friends, like, we make jam a lot, and then there's tends to be, some residual liquid that you don't want to like blend into the jam. Those will be all runny. And so we just have these fruit syrups hanging out, and not often, do we find a use for it. But this is, a great use for it. Just make soda out of it. We actually made a lot of sodas at Park 13 also. So yeah.
The way that just
Fizzles.
I think I have enough spoons.
we're having a number of firsts on the second half tonight. I know this is the second half, but we're definitely getting a lot of firsts here.
Yeah.
This one be for me. Just a little one.
Oh, there you go. Room for one more.
Whiskey, a little mescal, a little mescal.
Couldn't hurt.
Mescal
Don't
float?
say we're on the third half.
We're on the third half.
There you go. Shall we? Yeah, shall we?
Yeah.
How would you recommend? Do just drink it, spoon it, mix it?
Yeah.
How would you?
However you
All
want.
of the above.
However you want. I've only served this a few times, but I love seeing how it's different for every person.
I'm just
Like,
gonna-
you know, they start with a spoon, they start by sipping.
I'm just gonna say cheers, and I'm gonna drink it. Thank you, Eric.
Of course.
Astranda.
Oh my
Cheers.
gosh.
Yo.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Ooh, wow. Wow. I'm not buttering you up here, but just
This-
I want to
Oh.
spoon it.
it's the delivery of it. I don't know what it is, but
I'm gonna spoon it.
Oh my god! It's like the best McDonald's. Remember when you were a kid, the McDonald's the little parfait,
The part.
It is a parfait.
It is the
right?
parfait.
It's like the
Good, that's a good
parfait,
call.
but
The strawberries.
amazing.
like busy.
But amazing.
Parfait.
It tastes like the best McDonald's parfait you ever had.
It's a really cool party favor too, because
Mm-hmm.
all the
man, that
different
is good.
memories, and it's
Yeah, like I'm
again
thinking
kind of
of-
like the cinnamon roll, simple taste but
Yep.
better.
Yep. I'm thinking of going to McDonald's as a
It's
kid.
just the crispness of the seltzer. It's just like
Say
it's
Christmas?
Just freshness.
crispness, crispness.
That is so weird. I would have never thought to do that.
Here's the thing.
Lifting.
We could try to emulate and make this on our own. Like
No,
I'd
we
love
can't.
to try to do this.
I don't
but-
want
Oh, you could do this. This is really easy.
So that's just a jam, like
gosh.
some reserve jam used for another pastry that you then just repurpose as the
Yeah.
base of the.
That's not good.
It's plum, right?
Of course.
Yeah, the way I make it, like
Me.
when everyone starts jam, it's just chopped up fruit with a bunch of sugar, usually determined percentage of sugar by weight of the fruit, and you start to cook it, and it releases all this liquid, and more often than not, you will have a lot of extra liquid. You kind of strain it off. Some people like to reduce it. I like to do that too. I also like to dehydrate some of my fruit before I jam, but that's another story. A lot of that juice that comes off, there's just too much that would make the jam too soupy. So
Right.
you got to do something with it. So just add it to some seltzer water.
Man,
Don't you hate it too? Like, or am I the only one who thinks like that? When you taste something like this, and you're like, why didn't I think of this?
so
For sure.
I think this is a great segment to the free song
With food.
with food with friends.
Why do you always have to say?
Here's why.
Like you're-
Because
like
you were
stalker.
just saying it though because sometimes when you taste like when you're a kid and you have that first taste of that parfait, like you never get that first experience back.
And
So
this
like
is
we're
exactly-
having tonight, and because I've tried the cinnamon rolls and all the rest, but this is my first taste of something that I've never had made in this way.
Bringing me back.
Right, and it's funny because it's the first time trying this, but it still brings you back to some place,
I
right?
haven't
But let
had
me-
this taste.
Let me expand on why
30
it's
years.
special though. It's special because when we had that back in the day, when we had that parfait, you likely begged your mom or your dad
Yeah.
to pay for it, or you spent like your last dollar on it, and you savored it. And this is like the last spoonful of it. That's what it tastes like, right? The last few
Yeah.
spoons.
Yeah.
That's a good description. Yeah, it's like the last of that
Yeah.
first great thing that you had.
Yeah, like I don't want to finish this.
So whether we're on the air or not, I need your guys' feedback on how do I capture that with a burger? I mean, I'm thinking about lots of different kinds of burgers that I've loved or that I haven't tried but look good. But what is your best memory?
I think you
Have a
should
burger.
just put the burgers in front of us, and then we will let you know.
I mean, you want to go like fancy burger, or you want to go like house burger? Like, what are you?
Who's your target
going for?
market?
Somewhere in between fancy and McDonald's. You know.
Okay. It's like a gristle, like a Shake Shack burger with like all the gristle and.
I haven't had a Shack burger really in a long time. Gristle?
I like that.
What kind of bread are you thinking?
I'm gonna make it. I've been working on this milk bread because I've been doing this Japanese egg sando for a while, and so it just lends itself really well.
Good.
You know, it's soft. It definitely leans sweet because I put a bunch of honey in it too. But I don't want to make a sweet burger. You know, there's too many of those in the world.
With like jams and chutneys. And
Yeah. I mean, maybe they have a place, but yeah, I want to be sure not to veer into that territory. But yeah, honey milk bread because people do brioche a lot too, right? But
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of
fancy.
milk
Yeah,
bread
the
is
brioche.
similar to brioche. It's just less heavy. There's less
much-
butter, less eggs in it.
How much do you want to focus on just the meat versus like, you know, the additional, like
accoutrement?
the accoutrement, like the, you know, is there a horseradish mustard and a relish? Like, do you want to just only feature the meat or?
That's a great question. I haven't decided. I feel like I need to get a little bit more into the condiments and stuff.
Look, call us over. Call us over. You make as many as you need.
I've gone down so many rabbit holes because a lot of people.
You know what I like? Real talk. Everything you've made, it's been something else,
Simple.
but better.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you're asking for real feedback, this is my genuine feedback. I'm looking like at
Simple
an
burger.
In-N-Out burger, but
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Because to me, like the In-N-Out burger has always been the most consistent burger of the fast food chains.
It's obviously the best fast food.
Yes.
Whoa.
But can you make it better?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
It is.
Fine.
It's lasted longer than Shake Shack.
Fine.
It's been around longer than Shake Shack.
Say so.
Shake Shack can talk to In-N-Out in 10 years.
Anyways.
I do like how you were describing, I forget which restaurant it was at because you walked us through so many different great places, but Mission Bowling, I think. How they cut the meat in a certain way coming out.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what your.
What's that
I don't know.
technical?
Two-
I don't know.
You started
People,
describing that, and we were looking at each other like, that sounds
you could Google Heston Blumenthal on his thing. He's the British chef who I think started popularizing it. I'm definitely not going to do that. I don't think I'm going to grind my own meat. Like there's enough work with everything else as it is with making the buns and all the other shit. So yeah, I mean I've gone down so many rabbit holes. One of my favorite burgers ever. You guys ever had Kroner Burger? Closed like 6 years ago or something. It was in Oakland. There was a fire. It was sad.
No.
What was great about it?
The meat. He dry aged it for 3 months, which generally is like kind of accepted to be like impractical, but he made it work somehow. And he still does it for mostly private events, and they're very rare pop up, and they're the best. So I thought about doing that, but I think that's not really the direction I want to go, just for logistics. Like maybe if I had my own restaurant space and all the equipment and everything, but I don't think it's realistic. So I think I'm going to focus on toppings
Okay.
to make it unique or something.
which is what people would remember, the visual too, and
Yeah.
the toppings versus like the meat. A lot of people probably wouldn't recognize the specialty of the meat. I mean, they might, but maybe the average consumer would just say, "Oh, that's a really good burger." They don't know it's the meat that makes it so great.
It also is a problem with price because you got to charge
Right.
What's the meat?
a lot for that. When you dry age something, you lose so much mass from moisture evaporation and having to cut off the dried exterior and stuff. So
I think that's what makes
It's tough.
burgers such an appealing meal
It's
to
every
consider
man's-
is because
every man's meal.
yeah, it's every man's meal and everyone has just a different aspect to it that they like, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
for some it's the fig jam or the horseradish mustard.
Like, I'm thinking,
whereas others
what
it's
about
just the
bun?
meat, right? And then there's the bread aspect and there's all the what else you
So I'm
add.
thinking, like,
so-
what about a different take on the grilled sourdough burger? Nobody does burgers with sourdough bread.
Yeah, they do. Whatchamacallit? Place at the park.
Well, not many do, right? Like, most places don't do a grilled sourdough burger. Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't love a grilled
On
sourdough
in
burger?
Embarcadero.
like
Jack in
similar
the
to
Box.
patty melt kind of a thing, like the slice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Red Java Cafe.
Red Java.
Red Java
Oh, I haven't
Cafe.
been there. I gotta try
Oh,
Yeah,
With the sourdough bun.
but not many do.
it's sourdough.
I think
Who
people
does-
do, but
who
I
doesn't love
think
grilled
it's not.
sourdough, Jack?
I am a fan of the grilled sourdough, Joe.
I do.
Pretzel bun.
I'm really intrigued.
I love pretzel buns. I never
Pretzel
made
buns.
them.
Milk bread.
Milk bread.
Pretzel buns are good.
Milk bread sounds interesting to me.
Good.
Yeah.
I think whatever you decide to do, I think it's going to come out.
Yeah.
Based on
Awesome.
your precedent, it's going to
Based
come
on
out
the
awesome.
creativity and
Yeah.
it's
And I feel like it's going to come from a place where like you're tapping into like your experience and some
Yeah.
nostalgic aspect, and then you're just going to put your own spin on it. And we just ask that we're there to try it before you release it.
We'd
So
like-
we want to be there for the pre-release.
We'd
We want to be there for
we'd
the
like to
research
stage, if
and
you
development.
Yeah, like if you want
Anytime you want.
Can you let us stage? All four of us.
We're gonna start.
Can we do a follow-up staging episode? The staging half. The staging half. The staging half.
I will lose a finger.
Help me with West Coast Craft. Someone can help me mix 60 pounds of cream cheese frosting in the big mixer.
Ooh, let's
You look at her like,
wait. Let's talk about West Coast Craft because you mentioned it's one of the bigger events that you have that you've done last few years. So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
is it? Where? How can people come out support?
It's always the weekend before Thanksgiving, Saturday, Sunday. It's the biggest show for West Coast Craft of the whole year, probably because of Christmas shopping and all that. It's great timing. There's like 300-ish vendors at Fort Mason,
Okay.
and I'm always posted up outside, which is great because everyone has to walk by us to get in. Usually it's just I don't tend to go too crazy with like new stuff, cinnamon rolls, egg sandos. I've been doing meatball sandos too, I'm gonna try to do more mini pies this year, scones of course, banana puddings, etc. So yeah.
Oh, banana pudding! I missed the banana pudding at the family event, the family night
We're
event.
thinking the second stage episode.
Second stage, dude. West Coast Craft coming up weekend before Thanksgiving. Second stage.
Second stage.
That could be a great episode.
Yeah.
But look, we also had, while Eric is here, we can't let him leave without participating on Dad Bod Takes.
Okay.
And we have two, okay? Dad Bod Takes are just us thinking out loud, talking out loud. And the first one, things that kids today can't comprehend, we had or did. I.e., driving without directions, dial-up internet, pagers.
Do you want to sit or do you want to stand here?
You can sit.
You can sit.
Do whatever you want. I just thought you guys...
You're good? Okay, let's stand.
So Dad Bod Take. That's our Dad Bod Take.
wanna
Things
lead
that kids today can't comprehend we had or did, i.e. driving without directions, dial-up internet, or pagers. Go ahead. Thoughts?
I'll start it off just so y'all can think about an answer. But I brought this up because I was talking to somebody at work today, two people at work today, and me and another old guy were telling them like, yeah, back in the day, you got someone's address and you had to memorize directions and trust that you'd get there, and if there was some traffic or an accident on the way, you had to figure it out, and they couldn't comprehend that you had to get somewhere without.
And guess your ETA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just guess,
Yeah.
right? You had no idea if there was an accident on the bridge and it was shut down or the road was closed. You just had no idea, right? So you just had to figure out a way to get there. So they had no idea.
What I find most interesting when you look back on it is the level of trust involved between
Yes.
like
parties.
between welcoming party, receiving party, and visiting
house,
party.
8 o'clock.
Yeah. And if they didn't show up, it was kind of like, well, maybe they're stuck in traffic,
Yeah.
or
And you waited
oh, you
and
think
got
they're
lost.
still here? Like there's a period
But
of
you
time
waited.
you waited,
Waited.
right?
Yep.
Waited.
Right.
They'll show up. They said
Yeah.
they'd be here.
Right.
You couldn't call them.
Couldn't call them. No.
So-
Well, but there's also a higher level, I feel like, of communication in advance, right? Like, so hey, if you guys are coming, you're coming from, East Bay, you probably want to leave at this time, right? You'll get some traffic around this
Was
time.
there cross bay delivery back then? Like I don't even know. It was in the
Crosby
suburbs.
delivery?
Cross bay. You said people come from the East Bay to you guys in SF.
Yeah. Well, we're just talking about visiting people.
Oh,
right?
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like you're going to like someone invites you over to dinner.
Yeah.
Right. Like okay, so
You have
give
to
me your
write down
address.
the
He said,
directions.
give me your
Write
address.
it down.
You had to
Write
write
your
down
address
the
down.
Left at the gas station, you make the right
Yeah.
at the Burger
Wait,
King.
well, you had to know street names because kids now
You
don't
did
know
have
street
to know
names.
street names.
They
You
just
had to
didn't.
know
had
landmarks.
People did have maps.
Right? The little book map.
The book
Some.
map you would
The Thomas
some people would
books.
use book maps in
Some.
their car.
Thomas books.
Right.
Some.
Flip through there. And you had to
Unless
pull
you
over.
knew
If you got lost, you had to pull over.
the number of
Yeah.
signal lights that you had to turn.
But you know, this
Lights down.
conversation makes me think of something someone just told me recently. We're trying to break down this book, and he was like, isn't it interesting how a book you read now, you have a completely different perspective of it when that book is read again in 50 years later, right? So like when you read a book that was written in like 1850s, it was quite futuristic then, right?
Yeah.
But you're reading it now, and you're just like,
It's a little backwards.
yeah, churn butter.
Sure better.
What else? Well, I think on that note, pagers,
Pagers.
right? Because it's
Yeah.
like kind of like the stepping stone to, you know,
Gateway. The gateway.
to phones, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because, well, not to get political, but what just recently happened
Yeah.
with the, with
That's wild.
overseas,
Yeah.
and my first thought was, who uses pagers anymore? Like, it's such an antiquated technology,
For us.
right? Did you have a pager
No.
growing up? You didn't have a pager growing up.
Did not
right?
have a pager.
See, I had a pager, but not for long. But I know you had.
Oh, we had to pay.
You had a few pagers.
You work the phones, like you can make that 1/4 stretch.
Yeah, because you had the code.
Well,
after.
let's talk about, like, if you really think about it, there's a level of code. There's a level of like
It was
Morse
so
code. There's a level of Morse code
Yeah.
to it, right? Because it's like someone wants to get a hold of you. So what they do is they can do it in a number of ways, right? They could.
There was a level of sophistication to it was our form of texting, right?
Yeah.
So everyone had their own code, so you knew who was paging you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so my code was 800, and I would text you, and then you had the code on the payphone. You what was it star star star
Star, star,
or pound
star.
pound?
Star, star, star.
Yeah,
after
so
you're done.
right.
Why
So
800? Why was that
it
your
was my
code?
initials, BDD,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So you would type your message like if you wanted to do like the letter M, you would type 177,
Yep.
right? A was the letter 8,
8.
or number 8, right? So you would type this really long message,
Alphabet.
letter by letter by letter, and then you'd press star 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 to write another message, and so that was like our form of texting before texting even existed.
It
So
was just resourcefulness.
yeah,
was
and it was
inge-
all with a quarter.
Are you familiar with this?
No, not at
No.
all.
So that's what I'm saying. So today's generation has
And you're
no
only
clue.
you're
All in
only
a quarter
like
from a payphone.
5-6 years younger than us, but
Yeah.
think about like half a
struggle.
decade.
Yeah.
Think about like half a decade in the difference with technology advancements.
Struggle of our generation.
So do you remember getting stuck somewhere and you didn't have a quarter on you or 20 cents to make a phone call? What would you do? You dial someone, collect, and
Yeah.
you try to like spit out the message
Yeah.
in 10
Yeah.
seconds. Call me back, here's the phone number. Hoping they got the number so they'd call you back on that payphone.
Yep.
Yep.
Payphones. That's another
Yeah,
foreign thing.
payphone.
Payphones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time you saw?
I saw one.
A payphone in the wild.
I saw a payphone in the wild on a hiking trail, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
On a trail.
On
Was
the
it on a
trail.
trail?
Did it work?
Wow.
Did you pick it up?
I did not. I thought it was. I was like,
You
this,
should have
is,
tried it.
this must be.
You should have
crap.
called me. Nino, I'm on a trail. Answer real quick.
Over here.
I'm out of water.
We only got half a liter, and it's hers.
We did 12 miles. We only meant to do 2.
Should I drink her half a liter?
I'm going under. What's that thing that you have? The
Muscle what do you think?
Oh, rhabdomyolysis.
That would have taken the whole 10 minutes.
Rhabdomyolysis.
How do you spell
Google it.
how do you spell that shit out on a pager?
Google it. Can't Google it.
Spell that on a page.
Yeah.
R 1 2.
Yeah. What's it?
That's a $20 message.
Yeah. It's a $20 message, man.
Yeah. How did you pay by? I don't remember this. Did you pay per text or you paid a monthly fee? What was
Oh,
it?
pagers?
Yeah.
It was
Pagers was
monthly.
like it was like
Was it
$7.99 a month.
It was monthly.
No, it was cheaper than that actually.
Or $5 or
It was
$4. It was
monthly.
like $5 a month to have a pager.
was
It depends
monthly.
on the type of pager you had. If you had like one of the
The
cheaper,
Motorola.
Yeah. If you had this kind or this
The
kind,
top view.
You mean
or
the once we started getting
Yeah.
into
then you could
mad
accessorize it.
fingers? Once we started getting into mad fingers.
But remember, you could
Two-way.
accessorize it with a chain.
See, his nickname
could-
was Mad Fingers because as
Yeah,
pagers,
sidekick.
as
Yeah,
pagers
sidekick.
advanced, then they got the sidekick.
The 2 ways.
The Motorola side was
Started
it,
with 2 way.
2 ways first.
Actually, it did sidekick.
No,
No.
first.
Yeah, it did 2 way.
Then
It did
sidekick.
SkyTel. Then 2 way.
Yeah, the
And then
Sprint, the
sidekick,
Sprint, the Sprint
yeah.
walkies we had.
Yeah.
But we didn't
Sprint
even do
walkie.
that. We just
Nextel.
used to.
Yeah. Next up.
You didn't have a service like you
Yep.
have now. We went to the Richmond on Clement.
Yep, on Clement.
Went to
What was it
a
called?
random shop, some Vietnamese guy.
PagerNet?
You pay him like $6 and you're
Yeah.
hooked up for the month.
Yep. Filled out a little form, gave him some fake info, and you had
Yep.
a pager. You had a pager. You looked at a list of phone numbers you could pick
Dude,
from?
I was Pedro Martinez for like a whole year and a
Wow.
half.
Yeah.
You think about it, though, there was a level of sophistication with pagers in that, like, similar to like people could blow you off with like, text me. There's a similar like, oh, here's my pager, right? You could be like, you could be, you can decide who you want to engage with or not with the pager, right?
Definitely. And sophistication too, right? Because you felt like you were doing something that you weren't.
So that was the spirit of my question for today,
Yeah.
Dad Latte. Like, what are some things?
That y'all have encountered in today's generation that you bring it up and they have no idea what you're talking about.
You would offer?
Just to go back to delivery driving, since I'm doing some more I think deliveries in general, just for some extra cash during the week, and it's funny because I don't think a lot of people realize that it's me doing the deliveries, that I'm doing everything. So I feel like I'm just, which is fine, I'm just like a gig worker to them. But mad respect for the people who did it before Google Maps, because you put in an address,
It's a good call.
tells you obviously the directions, but also what fucking side of the street and
So,
which
the
outline of a
original
house you're going
pizza
to.
delivery guy?
Is insane.
Yeah.
How did they do it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, that is true though, because it was only local, right?
Yes.
It was local to just the neighborhood,
Right.
probably.
Yeah.
But that's also when you
It's a good call. It wasn't CrossFit. That's what you were asking.
What
It wasn't
pizza chain
there
was
wasn't
that
CrossFit.
started having to deliver it in 30 minutes or less?
Domino's?
Hang
Is that Domino's
Or,
or
or
Straw Hat?
pizza? No, Straw Hat never delivered.
Wait, which one was it? It wasn't Domino's.
Brick oven.
Didn't Domino's start
No.
doing delivery?
Who did 30 minutes or less?
It was Domino's.
Domino's.
I feel like that was Domino's.
Okay, well, if it was Domino's, they did that before navigation.
Yes.
So imagine that. Imagine having to make even if you were
Yeah.
in the local area.
And they probably mapped out a radius around a location, a Domino's location.
Mm-hmm.
So when you call, that's what they ask, what's your address first.
'Cause
Before
I
you
was-
even ordered, they would ask you what your address is.
Because
So they can map it out.
Yeah.
I was that
They can determine
12-year-old.
if you were in the radio,
Right. Right.
I was that 12-year-old waiting for 31.
30. You think you
Right.
fooled? You think you fooled
It
them?
would be free, right?
You think
right,
you fooled
yeah.
them? Yeah. You think you fooled them?
Yeah. Shout out to the early delivery drivers, the early gig workers.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so we have another dad bod take, though. This is the daddiest bod take of ever. When do you start sounding like your
Ooh.
parents?
So I'm gonna jump in on this one because I just had a moment this week, on my in my route, as I'm moonlighting as a delivery of smiles, aka an Amazon delivery driver. When I'm en route, sometimes I'm under the gun, and sometimes you get frustrated. It's part of the normal driver's day, and I found myself waiting for someone, because people cut you off, and then they'll drive in front of you, and they'll signal, or they won't signal, or they'll signal and they're not turn, and someone's just taking a really long time to go after a light, and it's almost 5 o'clock, so I have commercial deliveries that are due, and I found myself just saying something that my dad always says, right? He used to always say when we'd be on the road, and I just ran this by him when I just saw him earlier tonight, and he doesn't even think twice about it. He goes, "Come on, all day, let's go all day," right? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, "All right, all day, you gonna turn?"
You didn't even know.
And I just said it out loud, and then I was like, "That's funny." I was like, I never used to say that, and he used to always say that, right? And so I brought it up to him. He's like, "Oh, I say that?" And he didn't even realize, but that to me was an example of just something that you kind of take for granted that your parents do, and I just caught myself doing it. The other thing, actually, one other thing, my dad has this weird, gross habit. He used to always this. He grabs us, and when he likes you, he grabs you, and he kind of kisses your neck and slobbers, or he grabs your ear, and it's crazy. But I find myself with Trey. Not slobbery, but I'm always hugging him and kissing, and he's always pulling away, but I can't help it. I get it in a weird, gross way. So yeah, that's mine. Those are mine.
Your dad means well, but he likes to get the lips in places that shouldn't go.
The
He gets me on the neck a
lips
lot.
curl, the
Yeah, he gets me on the
Yeah,
neck.
and then
It's just weird.
Right here.
Yeah, don't get me on the neck, man.
Still or
Yeah, he's still.
Yeah,
still.
Yeah.
All of us.
It was still, yeah.
Yeah.
Guess I got off lucky then.
You got to lucky. Well, it's your first time, so
Okay,
it's
okay.
usually reserved for the second visit.
Yeah.
And he liked the cinnamon roll, so just watch yourself the next
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have different like height. You know, you're gonna get kissed in different places. I get kissed in the neck. Who knows where you might get kissed? So just be careful there.
I want him to come to family parties, so let's.
Now he's
Yeah.
forewarned.
Yeah.
That was your question. Do you find yourself using like old man phrases?
Yeah.
Like money doesn't grow on trees, or
All the.
Have you caught yourself like?
As it zooms in.
all the time now, like really all the time. And kind of going back to the first dad bod take, I always say something. I always say this. I always say, "Man, you guys have it easy."
Oh my God.
You're that
All
guy.
the time.
I am that guy.
All the time,
They
right?
do. I mean, I feel like that. And I think generationally, that's just what happens, right?
Yeah.
With advancement, but that's what I say all the time. And they don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think my mom never told me I had
you
it
guys
easy.
attest to that? do you even hear that?
You guys have it easy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No hesitation. Yeah.
But your mom never said that?
Did I have it easy? No. Your parents told you
All the time.
that? Damn. You?
No. No.
Our kids.
Maybe they did
I've
a
never had
maybe they did a
it.
variation of it, but that one doesn't jump out to me as much.
Nah. My mom never said that.
So what's the moment for you? Where you start sounding like your parents? Is it when you wear overalls or Nirvana?
Today?
No. When was it? Mine was actually, I could say when I was coaching one of my kids. I started yelling at my own kid, and not the whole team, just my own kid.
Yeah.
That's about it.
You went
That's
a
about
little,
all I
little
can-
overboard on the coaching.
Yeah, yeah.
What sport was it?
Shouldn't have done. It was basketball. Yeah, it was bad.
Did you catch yourself?
In the
Or
moment,
did she call you out?
in the moment, I didn't catch myself, but she did. She's like, "Why are you yelling so loud?" I'm like, "Oh,
Like birding above the rim?
you're in a CYO league and you're yelling this loud." I was like, "Oh yes,
CYO.
okay."
That's
That's-
Catholic youth
Organization.
Organization.
Yeah, that was bad.
You got the dad. You're being loud, dad
Yeah,
response.
I've done that though. But
yeah. That
you guys have it
that
easy.
was bad.
Yeah,
So
I
easy
think I
now.
say that all the time.
You guys have
Oh
it easy.
man.
So the girls are in volleyball right now, and
Yes.
they do this thing at the end of practice. They scrimmage with each other. The losing team does suicides.
Oh,
It's literally one suicide.
oh, that's whack.
Right, exactly. See,
They have it
suicides.
easy, right? They have it easy.
That's whack.
But do you remember whatever practice we had? How many suicides you
Yeah.
actually did? And it wasn't because you lost the scrimmage. It was probably
That's
because
part
you,
of practice.
Yeah,
that was part of warm-up.
you
part of
dropped
work.
or
Yeah,
you
it was part of
dropped the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
Go on
warm
suicides.
ups or every missed free throw
Yep.
after
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are those again?
They're liners.
lines.
Oh,
On the
yeah,
basketball
yeah,
court,
yeah,
right?
okay.
But like from baseline to free throw line, baseline to
Uh-huh.
dotted line,
Yeah,
back
gotcha.
court, back court.
Back court.
Never played
Nonstop.
basketball. Okay.
Man.
Or you know what? I
That was
think it was
horrible.
maybe. I mean, this had to have been like a few months ago, but I was telling Emma, our youngest daughter, because she's a yapper, she could talk, right? And I was like, back in my day,
There you go. There you go. Back in my day.
You got to lead with the back end.
Back in my day, do you remember when they made us write lines?
Yes.
On a
On a
you mean
chalkboard?
in
Yes.
the classroom.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
On
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
Or on
Yeah.
paper, yeah. Over.
Yeah.
That's an old
Yeah, we would do that.
concept.
Why are you pointing at me?
Well, no, back to your original.
Yeah.
No, to your dad bought it. I'm saying. Not that
Okay,
you
okay,
were the
okay.
one writing.
I mean, I have. I did a lot of lines.
But here's
You remember
What kind of
you remember
lines?
that? Having to write lines on the chalkboard, right? If you got in trouble,
Uh-huh.
right?
This
Like
is
that's
her
a
response.
foreign concept to kids.
her
now.
response was,
Yeah.
"Dad, that's pointless. Like, who gets punished there? Now you're just gonna have a hard time doing your work. And then you're gonna get buried, and then the next day, you do it again. It's just an endless cycle."
Two more. Two more of those.
It makes so much sense, but also like just the delivery she's
Yeah.
got is like
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you used to like do 100 lines.
100 lines. Yeah.
Oh, you did it on paper. We did
Yeah,
it
we
on
did it on paper.
chalkboard.
We did it on paper.
They made us really suffer.
On paper. Do 100
Yeah.
lines.
Chalkboard stuff.
I did it
Yeah.
on both.
You know why it was tough?
was
Because
that
you had to
bad.
do it in front of the class.
Yeah.
but you could only write so much, and then once you get to the bottom, you erase it,
Yep.
just so you start over.
Mm-hmm.
Chalkboard. I mean, they don't use. There's no chalkboard.
No,
Really.
no more chalkboards.
No.
Right.
It's a whiteboard
If that,
or dry erase board.
if that.
My
Yeah,
bad.
they just do everything.
Is that what it's called?
My laptop.
Or laptop.
I do realize the one thing I do now, and it's not necessarily a saying or a phrase, but it's literally just I make sounds getting out of cars or getting into cars, like
That's a whole other conversation.
you know, like you start
sounds
doing
getting out
that,
of
and you
this
know,
chair.
and it's audibly loud. Like that's when you know.
Or you stretch waking up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you wake up, you're
Got to,
stretching.
Got to.
Good dad bod takes.
Those are our dad bod takes.
Yep.
Eric, any other dad bod takes you want to add before we cut off here?
Nothing for that I know of about my parents. I know that after running, my kid spent a few nights at Grandma and Grandpa's house for the first time. He came back saying all these things like my mom does. Like sometimes if someone makes like for example, like a risque joke or something like that, she'll say like, "What?" and she'll say like, "Ah yeah" or "Yeah." So then Rowan comes home and he's just like, "What? Yeah. What?"
Nice.
He's just like parroting.
Nice.
Parroting, I like that.
Yeah.
What?
In response to like anything that we might say.
Ooh, I'm gonna crack a risque joke around Ronan at school.
Yeah.
What, Mr. Dino? What?
It's been too long. He's gotta have no sleepover.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be good. Well, I think this has been an awesome second half
Treats.
production. This has been quite the
Definitely
treat.
the tastiest.
Tastiest.
Yes.
Yes.
Before we wrap too, I'm just staring at
The
this
last
float
one.
that's just
The last one.
sitting there. I know it's Riles, but I don't think you realize that might be gone before you put the camera down. But no, I think maybe any parting words, anything you'd like to share upcoming. We talked about West Coast Craft coming up before Thanksgiving. Anything else that folks who are following should be on the lookout for, and again, an opportunity to plug
Plug the
Astranda.
handle. Plug the
handle, plug the IG, any
Yeah.
other socials you've got.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you mentioned the big ones. Yeah, just again, I don't have a website. Just find me on Instagram, Astranda Bakery. And that's it. For future things, cinnamon rolls and diner things and everything else.
Stay tuned. Astranda Diner Things, Astranda Diner Series
Diner thing.
coming to a pop-up near you.
Diner
Dude, Eric, right on, man. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. It was great. Love it, man. Thank you, brother. I'm glad we made it happen.
Yeah.
Diner ting.
Diner ting.
Diner ting.
Diner ting.
The Diner Ting.
That's what we were both saying.
Diner Ting.
Diner
I like
Ting.
that.